Here are a couple of reasons why we beat our children, hit our children, and scream at our children. And here's also one thing that if you start doing it right now and you do it for the next 24 to 72 hours, you will witness transformation in your connection with yourself and your children. You will experience directly breaking cycles. So, one of the main reasons why we as a collective still beat our children, scream at our children often, and spank our children 1 to 5 times per week or more is because many of us were born into this world and then many of us were beaten, spanked, and screamed at often. So therefore, we were programmed and conditioned to believe that is normal. Not only that, even if we were 10 years old and 15 years old and saying, when I have a child, I'm not going to spank them or scream at them. I'm not going to beat them the way that I got beat. Oftentimes, it's not until you actually become a parent that you realize just how heavily the subconscious mind was programmed to normalize and to do those very things that you said when you were younger you would never do to your child. Why? Not because you're a bad person or a bad parent, but because, again, you were born many years ago, and then you were programmed and conditioned by society, your environment, and what you experienced as a child to normalize that as a form of communication between adult and child includes spanking, beating, and screaming. So that's one of the reasons why we as a collective beat, scream, and spank our children. Another reason is because many of us didn't grow up in households watching adults operate from a high level of emotional intelligence where they were very intentional about holding space for their emotions and prioritizing their inner peace and prioritizing self-regulation and taking full accountability and responsibility for their emotions. Many of us grew up in households where parents would get triggered and then they would shame, blame, hit, and scream at and belittle whatever it was that triggered them instead of taking full accountability for the emotion and sensation they were experiencing, holding space for it, and then intentionally responding from awareness, from peace, from presence. Now, they would usually get around to operating from that, but when it came down to the discomfort that they experienced when they were triggered, they also didn't grow up witnessing what it was like to hold space for it. So they would project that discomfort onto many of you watching this video. So it's just a cycle of feeling triggered and discomfort and then projecting it onto others and blaming others for it, and then eventually feeling guilt and shame, operating from emotional intelligence until you felt that discomfort again, over and over and over and over again. Here's one way to break that cycle starting today. If you practice this for the next 24 to 72 hours, it will help you at minimum to take your power back and to experience just how capable you are of showing up as your favorite version of yourself and from a higher level of emotional intelligence. It's very simple. When a sensation, I'm going to practice it with you today. When the sensation arises of anger, frustration, irritation, anything other than peace, say hi to it. Whether you do it out loud or within yourself. And if you have an infant, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old, really, really awesome for them to witness you doing this at a very young age. Game-changing, actually. Like if my daughter was 1, 2, 3 years old again, she would hear me saying it when I was in front of her. Like, so she could learn this young. So let's say you feel frustrated or irritated or your child's having a tantrum. What you could say is to yourself, hi anger. Once you notice it, hi anger, because you are the awareness of the emotion, right? You're not the emotion or thoughts themselves. You are the awareness of hi anger, or hi negative thought, or I'm aware of anger right now. I'm aware of negative thoughts coming and going right now. Practicing this puts the space between what you truly are, awareness, and the object, the subtle object that you are aware of, which is the anger, the rage, the frustration, the grief, the sadness, the negative thoughts, right? And it allows you to no longer identify as them because you are not them. It allows you to operate from that awareness, that presence, and the wisdom and clarity that is a byproduct of that. So practice this. For those of you who feel inspired to follow for more parent empowerment, and remember that you are powerful and capable of more than you can possibly imagine.